the change in this one compared to the last one, as you recall, the sheriff asked for three vehicles. And so I had to add $150,000 to the request under the sheriff's department, Department 200, and it was for 3 sheriff's vehicles at $50,000 apiece. Also, we had in the tax assessor collector, the interface fees, I had to add, because that fund was not supporting what was bringing enough in to pay for those fees under service maintenance contracts. So I had to up that tax collector assessor's budget by, let's see, it was $2,200, about $24,000 and some odd dollars.
Which number?
That's gonna be at 105.
105, okay.
And let's see, then the last one is down at the very bottom under Department 900, other financing sources. That's gonna be to cover a transfer out of the general fund into the E911 fund because, and that's more common than uncommon. I see all the counties have to supplement the E911. There's just not enough revenue coming in to make it self-supporting. And so it's gonna take $500,000 out of the general county fund into the fund 097 for the to make it balanced. But yeah, I think y'all did a journal. Yeah.
Yes, we did it in a fund transfer and got approved today to the 450,000 or 425.
And that'll get it
What was the other one?
That was volunteer fire for 425,000 and then 6,300 for the interface.
Yeah. So that gets us for this fiscal year that we're almost over with, but these are going to be what's going to be needed for the upcoming 24-25 year.
And these will increase, that will increase each year based on your salaries too, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anytime there's an increase, and that's most commonly what we'll see out of E911, but if there's a salary increase or, equipment or other things like that, it's gonna take an extra expense out of the general fund to fund that. But, as you go down through there, of course, the highlighted is our 24-25 proposed budget. Right next to it is the 23-24 current budget we're in right now, and that's the change. And if you take a moment and just go down through there, you will see the different ones, some of which have already been discussed at the previous meeting, but then the 3 main ones that I brought to your attention was 3 sheriff's vehicles under the 200 department, the $500,000 needed in the other department for the E911 at the very bottom, and then the interface and the tax collector assessment. So if you see now that figure at the bottom, the increase request is going to be it's going to be 2.2 million. 2,284,442. It was at 1,608,000 before the changes and all. So now we've got the detail with us. We need to go line by line and department by department. We can do that. They're going to be right behind that. So,
I do, because where do salaries and stuff come out of?
They're in this too.
They're in this one.
Yeah, he said they're already figured in at a 3% increase.
you're going to have salaries under Board of Supervisors department, so,
Under each department.
yeah, each department all the way down.
So if we're looking at adding anybody or putting anybody else in, would we need to discuss that on this page or this other page?
This part.
Yeah, this would fall in that, because you're thinking in terms of human resource officer.
IT person.
IT person.
In-house engineer,
Okay.
part-time,
Okay.
just, there's, people like that, because if we don't budget for them, if we decide in 6 months to hire them, we can't hire them. We could, but, we'd have to figure out the funds. I'm just saying, if we thought about at least budgeting for those people, so when the need comes up.
Those people would come out of the.
It is. You already know. I'm just making sure.
Right at the end of it was.
Well, we haven't reached the end. I didn't want you to be caught. Right there.
HR is IT, that's the department of IT.
It was something to do with Delta, and it was a coding issue, supposedly. But I don't know. But still money.
The first two we did, yes, all four, with all the issues and problems in town.
I don't know either. And that's where
And we would do that, then we'll have to have somebody
collected it, it never left. Or,
But I think we need to really think about that.
I mean, that-
To do it, but we gotta budget for it, we
Extend.
think about it.
that's my concern.
But because if we're not in the budget, it's kind of like, well, let's put that off for a year and a half. Down the road.
Supervisor Little, said the board has sort of been talking about, an IT person, human resource officer, and possibly part-time in-house engineer. And she was saying that it would be wise to budget, go ahead and see if we can get it in the budget, even if we don't hire right now, we'll have it in the budget. Is that, would we need salaries and things so that would we need numbers so that we could
With the
talk about
salaries and fringes and all would go with that. And I think every bit of that would go under Department 100 under Board of Supervisors, all positions would.
So, do you see the possibility of getting it budgeted in this particular budget, or?
It would just increase that bottom line down there at all.
What it's gonna do is gonna increase the amount of money that y'all gonna have to take out of beginning cash to fund it. Right now, you're looking at $2,284,000 that's coming out of beginning cash to fund this budget.
And we'll probably be talking at least, another 100,000 for the 3 positions with fringes?
Probably more than that.
Or more?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about three, for an IT person and, for those 3 people, I mean, it would probably at least 250, 300,000.
You're gonna have a salary, and you're gonna have to tack on the fringes on top of it, and insurance, unless it's part-time. I did include something in there that we'll talk a little more about, but if you look over on, let's see, the 4th page, it's gonna look like this, and this is just where we decided to run and see how much, because the value of the bill is up, and, so this is gonna tell you how much extra, so the general fund, with the value of a bill being $480,317, it's gonna be, bring us in another $303,000, so that could reduce that 2.2 million, or either,
No,
That's not including that, that's this,
No, that's not, that includes that.
that's.
Cause I think when I did my sheet, I was gonna need $2 million in beginning cash to fund this budget.
So that already includes that.
So that's already in there.
The increase of
Well,
the meal
right.
is included.
because, yes, what we were,
The increase of the meal, the increase of the meal is included in the
Yeah.
top figure that you gave.
right, that's correct. The way the budget works, you're gonna have to take, or we have to take beginning cash and add that. Your beginning cash would be, of course, our ending at this September 30th. And we're gonna add that to our projected revenues. And then that total is gonna equal our expenditures plus the ending cash. So if you have let's say if you have 20 million or so, for example, in the general fund, and you're using 2 million to cover this, and then that brings your revenues and expenditures equal, but then you'd go down to 18 million in the ending. So that's the way, but the law, it requires, we'll be doing a combined budget for publication, and it'll show the cash, how it fits in the beginning and the ending cash.
So you've already went into the beginning cash to fund this budget for about $2 million.
Yes.
So far, so if we're talking another $350,000, we'd have to go back into the beginning cash and pull another $350,000 and bring it down to this budget to give a.
I didn't bring that sheet with me, but I do remember that when I was working on it, our projected revenue for the general fund is gonna be about 17.5 this year. And so the difference between the 17.5 and our projected revenues is happens to be about 2 million of beginning cash that we're gonna add to fund this budget.
So we're not bringing in enough money to fund the budget,
That's correct.
by $2.2 million.
That's correct.
So, I guess I got a question on our personal property, was that a decrease in personal property?
From the printouts that I was giving you at a
How did we got a
decrease.
decrease in personal property, was sales?
Personal property, you got industry, and those inventory of industries, it depreciates every year, so that could be part of it. That's what I see a lot of times where, that's a pretty good little decrease. There may have been a business that, y'all didn't have one shut down, did you? There this year.
For personal property.
See, personal is gonna be the inventory, the machinery, and all that industry.
And
What about machinery, like equipment,
Yeah, like a.
road department?
Well, it would be like if a business, like a manufacturing business, it's all their machinery and all that's in there.
but do we write off depreciation of that equipment?
Well, it could, would it have a bearing on their inventory value that they would be on?
Depreciate.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it would.
So would that affect this
On personal
reduction in
property, right.
personal?
Well, I mean, that's a big reduction, that's 10%.
It is, because it kinda makes me wonder if you had an industry that closed
We
down.
would have to have a big industry that closed down
Yeah.
for $5 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big leap.
Well, with banks, it gets into their securities and everything that they hold, so it's not just, with, equipment, business inventories, it can be, intangible items too that a bank might have. And it can be, inventories that's held in.
$5 million.
So where are these numbers pulled from?
They're pulled from the tax assessor's numbers that she gives to the county. The personal property number that she gave last year was the 49 and this year it was 43 million.
I guess I'm gonna ask a question, is there a possibility of mistake made?
It could be a mistake made in the numbers that were reported to the county administrator's office. So, do you remember, were you supervisor at the time when, it was NBC Bank found out that they had been paid on like 32, listing 32 million over in, stock than what they had. And that all came off the assessed valuation all at once. That's kind of what I was looking at, something like that.
Okay.
But that's the numbers that was on the sheet. Did you bring those worksheets?
Oh, yeah.
But y'all, everything else went up.
No, I
Except
didn't.
personal property.
Would that be?
Yeah.
But they have all their locations.
Oh.
No, they didn't, they did not keep on.
Which ones are?
I've seen depreciate, one of my counties this year went down 7 million in personal property.
It's not
Right.
available.
But I don't think we've had anything.
Another county went down 7 million, did you have one that go up?
Because they're in there temporary because
There
they're.
might have been a different way that they have been giving their figures.
That may be right, that's true.
Since we got another county.
Yeah.
Bank South.
But they use the industry there in Choctaw.
Is that something we need to just double check on?
I think so.
Okay.
I'll check with Joey.
Yeah, that'd be good.
No, that's
But-
one of the rebuild, the library.
Okay.
Did,
The rebuild, no.
I guess that Dolores had already went over some of these sheets with y'all on the grants and subsidies in the board
We didn't go
supervisor's
over
budget.
it, didn't go any of it.
Okay, so, she's got the JL King at 10,000. Beaver Forces at 7,500. Red Cross is the same. She's increasing the Boys and Girls Club up from 100,000 to 125,000.
Which numbers are we on?
That's goes in this packet. It's
Oh,
gonna be
the
this
packet.
right here.
Is there a local and private for JL King?
West.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there local and private for Brick Fire?
Yes, we got all of those last
All
year.
of those are
Okay.
okay. Yes, mine.
I don't think it was the amount they wanted, but that was the amount that I was told.
Who's gonna sell?
Well, it's not showing an increase, it's showing that, 10,000 to JL King, and only one that's showing an increase right here is the Boys and Girls with 25,000. So you wanna keep that
I
at
don't know.
100,000?
Let me go back and look at that. I need to make sure that's correct.
So if you look at the year 23 and 24, those were if you have your pink, everything that they requested, she just put that in here. So these are, all of this is requested funds from each one of those, requests. They're all in there, and those are the amounts that they're requesting, so that's where those figures come from. Now it's up to the board to decide whether you wanna keep that, change it,
Yeah,
however
it's,
you want.
Boys and Girls School was they went from 100 to 125,000. The horse sport went from 41 to 50,000. And that's only two increases I see. from last
Aging
year.
program went from 67,000 to 113,000. Go to Triangle Planning Development, that was something that
Do
came in.
something on that.
Well, we
No, we
told
did
them
not.
to just bring the
Right.
numbers.
Yeah,
We didn't approve anything.
And the airport, did they,
The airport was a decrease
Was a
from
decrease.
168 to 50, because that's
Yeah.
all they
Well,
had. It's a one-time.
Yeah. In March, you guys approved to pay the airport 168. In the past, they were getting 24,000. That 168 was a one-time thing that they approved in March, and now they're asking for 50. Basically, it is an increase from last year, from the 24,000, but it's a decrease from what you gave them in March, so you can look at it either way.
so is this a request of some of the 168,000?
No, this is a request for the year, for 50,000. That's how much the airport is asking for annually.
That is part of their, we already paid them the 168, didn't we?
In March.
In March, we paid them 168, because that's part of that 28.
Airport.
Bryan Airport.
Well, so I thought that was like
And the
county,
50.
city,
And the 50 is our part of the county city thing for next year.
Bryan Airport, it's always been, it was always, flat fee.
No, not this year.
They
Because
did.
the board approved to pay them $168,000.
So how much is they supposed to be budgeted for this year? They got 50 on this sheet.
50.
Okay. And it used to be like 7,900 a quarter or something.
Yeah, 24,000.
32,000 or something.
But they got some kind of grant, that's
Okay.
the part of
So
our
it-
money
yeah.
that we had to pay.
Okay. All
And
right,
it's a
so,
one-time, next year's a one-time thing too.
The 50 is
It's
okay.
one time.
Just an annual.
And
is,
so then we'll
so
drop
back
that.
to the 32?
That's the end of our, that's the end of that deal. That's what we're talking
If
about.
any way possible,
Yeah,
yes.
'cause it's supposed to be the county thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll do this 2 years, and then we'll drop back to our original 32,000. And I guess, I'm sure all three entities had to increase their, funding amount, do you know? He's out sick,
Oh,
because there's been the county, the city, and the university, we all paid, was it equal amounts?
No. Well, I don't think it was equal.
You want me to call him and get him on the phone so he can explain it to us?
Yeah.
They had a match that they needed, obviously, and y'all gave it to them back in March, and now they just needing 50,000 this year as opposed to 32 or
So
something.
what was 168,000?
That's in your packet.
It said 35% of a payment in there, if I recall. It was like an invoice and it said 35%. I may have taken it out here, but see it.
Hey, look, I'm aware of
But this is not the first time to look at this stuff. I try not to.
I might have taken it out.
Yes,
Okay, I got Rodney Lincoln on the phone.
all of
Hey,
them.
Mr. Lincoln, how are you?
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're here working through we had our budget workshop and trying to make the money fit the request. We were just sort of wondering,
I'm in a meeting, Reggie.
back in March, I think,
Sure, that okay?
we gave
Are you
y'all
okay?
$168,000.
Okay.
And, the request now is for 50,000, and, the understanding is we'll give you another 50,000 next year. Then will we go back to our original amount of around $32,000? And I guess before you answer that one, can you sort of just explain to us what was 168,000 for? And if the other three entities have increased their, amount that they're allocating? That was 168,000?
That's right, that was what that was for. And so there's no terminal building money forecasted unless we get something this fall, which would not be till next year. And so the city clerk's office just kind of put together the 50,000 for what we know or what they think they'll do the matching funds for this coming next year. So we should go over that, should get us another invoice here in October for that over 50.
The 168,000, was that equal payments between all three entities?
Well, it was 35% county, 35% city, and 30% university as the interlocal agreement is signed.
Okay, so that was 168,000 county, 168,000 city, and 140,000.
40-something university.
Okay. And this 50, and we're working through this, the 50,000, you said that's because you didn't get a grant, but you reapplied for that grant, and if you get it,
Applied for several. We've got a one-way extension grant, a terminal building grant, and we also have the medical facility that we have awarded the first grant from MDOT, $490,000, and now we're working on an ACR grant for the balance of it. So, then there's our matching funds is up there too.
Okay, okay.
Alright.
When you from ARC, if we receive that one, everything's a go again.
Miss Emily has a question for you.
Okay, we are normally giving, I'm just helping with the budget this time. We used to give y'all like 32,000 a year. She's got 50 on this budget this time. Is that the regular allocation that we give you each year, or you need additional 50,000?
No, there's no additional, that's the 50 total.
50
And
total.
what it is like there's, like when this other support for the grants, we have a kind of like a baseline, amount, and then as we receive grants, there's matching funds, and that's what we spent 168 of, because there was some grant matching funds in there as well as that terminal building, invoices, design invoices. And, this time there are some grant matching funds that are included in that 50,000.
Okay, I got it now, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lincoln, for explaining that to the board. We certainly do appreciate
So
it.
anytime I need to prepare paperwork and come to y'all's meeting, I would be glad to help explain it or even before the meeting, be glad to.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And we're back at Board of Supervisors, and we were talking about the grant subsidies in there. And we were talking about, last year we funded the boys and girls at 100,000, and I guess they requested 125,000 this year. Are we gonna increase it to 125,000?
Total budget for the Starwood Club is approximately $385,000. Currently, the funding source for clubs come from individual foundation donations, fundraisers, grants, and activity fees assessed by parents. The funding amount of $125,000 is requested to cover operations cost, with greatly help in our work to continue changing lives. So they're asking to help cover operational costs.
Mr. President, I don't know what the amount was for the local and private, and I'm not saying it didn't go up to that amount that they're asking for, but if they're asking for more than what we asked for the local and private, we're gonna have to request it
More.
go up more, if that's the case.
On the local private?
Yes, sir. And I don't remember what that amount is, I'm not trying to,
Have y'all done a new one since I've been gone?
no, ma'am, not for that.
I don't think it was ever this much. For the boys and girls, when you think about it.
Well, I do remember, it seemed like we voted to increase it to $100,000. I do remember that.
But what he's saying, if our local and private specifies a certain amount,
I don't remember what the amount, tell you what, I can find out,
But right now, you all have the budget set to cover all of the increase that's been requested, and we'll work our way back, okay.
I didn't realize local and private had to specify
we
how much. That's something just recently.
No, sir, that's, if it's, here's the deal, if it's plugged in, that you're gonna give them, and I'm just pulling a number out, if we say we're gonna give them $100,000, it can be up to $100,000. But you can't go above that
You can't
number.
go above that.
But it's up to us what we ask, it's just a matter of getting it changed if that's what y'all wanna do. But I don't remember
What's the
going.
pleasure of the board on that?
I think they needed it, we're talking about Boys and Girls Club, because they had some other changes, in operation, with the number of, individuals that they serve. Now it's gone up, and I think there are some regulations too, that, some new regulations that they had to adhere to.
So, we'll leave that request amount in for right now, then.
and then, on the other change under your grants in this budget was for the horse park went from 41 to 50.
Do what?
From 41,000 to 50,000 to fund the horse park.
I know we've got a new
9,000.
That new person,
person out there,
Supervisor Douglas,
I
I don't think, do we really need to increase that?
I do know that the county gives, I think, a little bit more than anybody else.
Saying that, they don't participate.
I think they give 10,000 maybe a year.
Much less than what we do.
I was
I don't know if they increase that.
you want to keep that for us right now?
Give me another 3.
41, yeah.
Alright, we're cutting that back to where it was last year, 41.
And that's what,
That's what we
$9,000 per time?
Yeah, what, no, that's saving.
That's saved it, yeah.
$100 saved, it's $1.
The aging program increased. It's not on there, but that one increased to 113,000.
With what?
This aging, that 62,000 is.
I'm really interested in that because I thought Rudy had told me at one point that they were only allowed to get so much.
Yeah, I got a letter here. That happened at the advisory council meeting where, there's like 49 that we're not getting. Yeah.
So we need to give them, so y'all need to give them more money?
That's what he's asking
They did
for.
not serve, the 49 that was not served. There's some new ones that are being served. The way
These are
out
right,
there.
yeah, these, right.
49 that work.
They're on the waiting list.
Before,
Right.
it was on the waiting
Yes,
list.
that's right.
I think Supervisor Reed, you made a motion to increase that, didn't you? Did we do a board order on that?
Everybody got time.
No. Well, I just remember him talking about it,
We
you
talked
had
Well,
mentioned
well,
about
we
it.
do need to serve
Yeah.
that part, we do need to serve those individuals out.
Okay. Somebody's written up here 113,997.50.
They need to be served,
Yeah.
49 of them.
We're gonna increase that to 114,000, that'll be okay.
So what's that increase to?
114,000 up in, on, the Golden Triangle's portion of
So that's
their,
about, what, a 40%
aging
increase?
grant. We were at 67 and need to up it to 114. I had increased it to 67 and Rudy had told me, well, we can't have it 50 or something. So, and then now they need 114.
And how much is it now?
Well, I guess y'all started giving them to 67. So it's basically 70.
It's gonna be under the,
It's under 400.
right here.
Yeah.
So if we don't increase it, will that cut out those individuals that?
That's what the letter says. Mhm.
Do you,
That would get them off the waiting list.
do you really have everybody served, someone not gonna be served, that's already a name on the list, but not yet served? And which means those 41 could be plugged in.
Probably, so I'm relatively new to that, so I can't answer that for sure.
So
I don't
what
think
you-
it worked that way.
Well, I think we want them to receive service.
Yeah, I was gonna say, listen, I've seen how these programs really do help the elderly, around the county. I would be in favor of increasing.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to go without food.
No, we talking about providing food to elderly individuals, so.
We're not saying.
We provide the food.
We got it.
Don't say on.
Well, this was over, yeah, it was on.
Okay, I think I got it in that total anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's leave them like they are.
299, yeah.
It's got to be there, so we're
Got it
good.
in there.
I'd pay somebody $5 a day to bring me up. Somebody how they doing that.
Somehow this got fair high. He said, what about the next one? So he provided me
Yeah,
with.
yeah, that is, and that's it. Okay.
We've got 9,000.
Advertising county resources for 5,000 to the base. It's,
It'll be in this department,
675. Do you see it? Oh, jobs for Mississippi graduates, that's that high school program.
Yeah.
Where it was, we were funding it at 5,000, and she's requesting 10.
That's item 675.
Right.
This is, are these the scholarships that we give to graduating?
No, they give scholarship. They give a scholarship.
Yeah, they're letting people go to work for other people and pay them.
Yeah. They help them get jobs and, things
Is
like
this
that.
ability to work down now? That's
Through the-
This is where it is.
It's through the school system.
For the high school.
Oh, okay.
But in that doesn't mean that they're not.
No, this
No,
is
not
through,
this, not this.
This is through the high
This is
school.
a program through the high school.
I think the school gets a lot of my money. I think the school gets a lot of my money.
They help those children get jobs
And
and move that around.
I think my tax thing are excessive in a lot of it.
Yeah.
So this is a request an increase of $5,000.
Nobody has their purpose pink. I mean, everything that she's going over is on the right side of the pink folder, the request that they've asked for.
She has 100% placement rate. She does have 100% placement with those young students.
I have no
I
vote.
don't know.
I don't even work here.
How much do we need to whittle down? Just give, that would help them know what they're.
Well, the thing of it is, until y'all have another reappraisal year, these changes that we're making now, you're gonna have these changes every year. So you're gonna need this money
Reoccurring.
added every
Right.
year,
I get you.
plus some.
I think it's gonna be in 2 years.
Okay. We're almost
Next
2
year is
million
the
right now,
reappraisal
over and
year.
above what we
But
got.
now,
But
my
26, 26, I believe, yeah.
Revenue
To
coming
bring
in.
me that pink,
why
the
down
pink,
at the bottom,
folder,
does it say countywide assessment reduction? It's like $26 million.
We're talking about
You see a
9,000,
pink
5,000.
That
folder,
is
the
homestead credit there, that you, when you figure your millage, you take that off, and you take that off your total assessment to come up with what your, value of a mill's gonna be, because on that 26,000, you're not gonna collect taxes on that. Let's do the homestead filings. But then we come back in and we reimburse half of it back on that.
short of raising taxes to, because these aren't reoccurring. What you're telling us is we don't have enough peanut butter for the bread.
That's right.
Okay. And that's a perfect.
But if this budget, if we've already got all the requests covered, we just cut 9,000
Thank you.
of it, so we still would be, if we gave
If you finally get
the other
it.
5,000, we still have a $4,000 cut at this point.
Right.
Okay.
We cut out 9,000, so if we leave it like the 10 in there, we already got it figured in here,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Sorry, future.
elderly and children always get. Alright.
They sure do, don't they?
Yeah.
Advertising cost that we already plugged in,
Mrs. Children.
advertising cost that we have plugged in,
Gotta take care of
just
the
advertising.
old people.
But y'all, you got
Don't
to
say
realize,
old.
you can't take care of what you ain't got money to take care of.
Didn't we do some advertising out of the budget for like
Advertising county resources.
Right, something.
That's where this is all funded. The 675 is advertising county resources.
Yeah, that's just not only, boy,
That's
that's
not the
not only.
only
that's
thing.
Several, but that's.
There's several of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a several,
Yeah, we
that's
got,
things like we
Just trying
put
to
an
figure out
ad
where
in,
y'all's money
pad
come from.
in various booklets and things like that, we put ads in different booklets.
it's limited to a half a mil, I think, on.
That's all buildings, taking care of buildings.
That's the
I think
greatest
it was
Starkville
didn't ask you
building.
on
That's
advertising.
Starkville Arts Council, Mayor.
Just take,
Council,
well, we
Job.
don't look as of 5/31, when this was printed, you didn't spend any time, you get 3,000 budgeted by them.
That was adding their,
It's not just the school, it's that great.
Y'all gave 5,000 to Sally Winters, she's out of town,
So this was just $5,000.
and we gave Start Vegas
You don't have any
Juneteenth,
$5,000.
$5,000. You gonna get that again this year?
I think the board had.
oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, one minute. Yeah. Who was that? I thought so.
Chief Vickers used to head that up, but he's not here anymore now,
Oh, he's out.
so we don't have that.
Make these down to one
No, Chief Vickers, he
But
was.
if they didn't make a request this year, then there's no point.
We cut it,
Well, this is just the allocation.
we cutting this, 5,000 to this.
So it gets that like.
Maybe not all. What we had allocated last year, 5,000.
5,000.
Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need to cut all of it.
But it ain't bad.
Yeah, cut it.
You ain't gonna see it, but you gonna have to, but you don't let them have a party.
The Humane Society increased to
They need it.
$185,000.
That's a good,
That was last year, wasn't it?
What did you say?
Yeah, we don't fund the Juneteenth at 2,500, right?
yeah.
And we're gonna go ahead and increase the Johnson Mississippi graduates
To 5.
from
The
5 to 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sally K. Winters, we'll give them 5,000.
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce is 1,250, they ain't got enough, they were 1,000. No. Okay. Alright, well, that gets you in general county with your request. The only way that you could reduce this $2.2 million figure is if you cut out some of the departments' requests.
Right now, we've cut $6,500.
And the Humane Society, yeah, we cut
We
9,000.
got 11,000.
11,000.
Okay.
11,000.
Is the Humane Society increased to 25,000?
Humane Society. Gave them a bunch
We're
of
requesting, 210,000 and increase to 25,000.
Yeah, but I don't think she gave them but what they had
What do you wanna
last
do?
year.
We need to, we need to like that in the that's right.
I would say keep the line item flat then.
Yes, she didn't put an increase in here for the Humane Society, she kept them at 185,000.
Okay.
And that went up last year to that amount. It wasn't that much prior to last year.
My dog that I got out from the Humane Society when my last dog passed. I got a new one, and the only reason I got this one is because his name was Rose, and my name's Rose, so I got
So we have a way of getting you to get a dog, just tell you that, I got a dog named Rose at the house I'd like to give you.
Oh, I gotta take this dog, it's meant for me to have this dog.
I'm sorry, I'm messing up your,
Supervisor Turner.
you were worried to death, I'm gonna knock this over at you. I know where a dog named Rose is. We need to get you.
It's Rosie Terry, too.
What kind of dog you want? I
I'll talk to you.
I can fix you up. My wife may tell me that I get you taken care of.
Another one.
We'll talk about it.
They haven't been able to cut this one right, so we'll go to the next.
Oh, okay.
No, he's gone, he's not.
No, it's not raining, so you got it right. So at this point, we've addressed all the, increased requests.
Right.
So now I guess we got to talk about Supervisor Little's,
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that y'all have went over all these requests on this sheet.
No, we hadn't gone
We
over.
didn't- we didn't.
several
Department by
departments.
department, y'all haven't gone over them?
we didn't
started
did
last
anything,
week,
we,
but
yeah.
Okay, well, do y'all see anything that y'all want to discuss as to, that you see is out of proportion?
Yeah, details to give us,
Sure, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Y'all see anything y'all want to discuss, we can discuss it.
Well, we're going to,
Supervisor Turner.
we're gonna reduce the volunteer fire budget, correct?
That's gonna be on that next page.
Okay,
libraries.
You wanna go on the first page right now?
Libraries, have y'all agreed to increase their funding? They're going up from 305 to 320.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think they need to stay like they are, not an increase.
Sometimes you have to skip somebody in some years, but, you know.
Yeah, it's some,
Just give them
we just did, we gave it last one.
Yeah.
I said libraries.
Yes.
We can come back next, you made a good point. Some years we don't.
No,
we
it's
can-
it was 290, that 305 comes from Maven and Sturgis added on. So
Oh,
it's
that's
290,
everything
they're
together.
asking for 305. Maven and Sturgis is 75 each.
But
We
20,000 of it is, 7,500 is to Maven, 75 is to Sturgis. And the library itself is asking the increase from 290,000 to 305,000.
That's 15.
so,
You can still cover maybe the Sturgis with,
yeah,
For 75 each.
yeah, with the 209,
Well, they got 75 and 75 in addition to the 305.
addition.
so we just need to put in 209.
And they're getting, she's giving them 305 and having the 75 and 75.
That's what they asked
Okay.
for,
So
an
you
increase to
have to-
305 from 290.
So we're keeping that at 305.
Increasing them from 290 to 305.
That's what they're asking for, I'm not sure.
No, from
290.
305 to 320.
Maven and Sturgis, that's 15,000 plus 305 is 320. That's the
Maven and
total for all
Sturgis,
three.
yeah.
The
Right.
library, the Starkville Public Library itself is asking from 290,000 to 305,000 just for the Starkville Public Library.
So that's
it has
50
nothing to do with
15,000.
That has nothing to do with Maven or Sturgis.
So we leave the Starkville Public Library the same.
So leave them the same,
That's 290.
290.
And do the 75 each for the Maven
Yeah,
and stuff.
and that brings them back to the 305
That's good.
minus.
We're gonna stay at the 305.
That's somebody.
See, they did with the tax assessor and several departments last time.
What about the constables? They make a lot of their own
constables, what you have in the constable's budget is what you're required to pay them for that lost cost money. And then y'all agreed to pay their matching on their retirement, so that's all that is there. Plus, we did have like $900 per constable, but let me see what y'all added up to now. Where's it gone? 262.
762.
I'm about that. Uh, 262. There you go.
State retirement, yeah.
All right.
So,
Social Security.
so since the ambulance service is now private, is there any reason why we're gonna keep this one in the budget?
I wouldn't think so. What are you talking about? Ambulance service over here on,
240.
240.
what that is a grant that the hospital would apply for, and they would have to apply for it under Occidental County's name. So we would get the grant proceeds, and then we would just give it on to them.
Okay, so this is a grant.
Yes, if they get the grant, they would send the grant money to us, and then we would settle it on to the hospital. That's
Okay.
not something that we give the hospital out of our pocket.
Okay.
That uniforms for, supplies for law enforcement used to be 3, 3, and 3. Law enforcement 3, uniforms 3, and general supplies 3. And now it looks like it's 3, 8, and 3. Uniforms got up to 8 instead of 3.
Where are we at?
We're looking at constables. Joe was talking about constables.
Department 262.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
8,300, let's see, 6,700 of that 83 is state retirement increase
How much of it? 6,700?
of the 83.
it's not much
We
to
have a
say.
new constable, we had, retirees, but we had a new constable.
That
It's gonna be full.
that has
Yeah.
retirement.
Yes, he's not retired. 2 are retired and 1 is not.
Could you tell us again why the tax collector, assessor, she didn't make a request? She didn't
I
request.
think it's got some pay raises in there. I think she's got pay raises figured in, and then, let's see,
She's asked.
26 of that was that
Assessor's
interface.
asked to increase.
Must come back later.
That's her salary, Mama, if you don't know.
She's asking for a raise in hers, but she would have to have a certification or something like that to get that. She's about 5,000 under her salary. Oh,
Supervisor trainers on the phone.
Okay. Supervisor Trainer, can you hear us? Supervisor Trainer?
Was increase in appraisal.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Doesn't that fall?
No, this don't fall under.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Yeah, our prices on inside the budget.
I don't think I wrote
Okay,
it down yet.
okay. Can you hear the discussion going on? Okay.
Let's go. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What are we?
The interface had to be moved over there, and that's gonna be like $26,436. $2,203 a month for 12 months. So that happened after we met with her. That we were looking to do this.
That we were taking out of the interface funds, but we done depleted those, so we need to let it build up in this.
So is
and
that
Delta
gonna,
contracts.
is that gonna cover us not having to do a transfer at next year?
No, we got it cleared up this year, and we won't have to do it next year.
Well, that's what, yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That'll cover for next year, now.
Yes.
Then, okay.
Yes, should.
Okay.
Just keep on that figured in the budget.
No.
Okay. And these figures,
Yeah.
this is in the, okay.
Because I know like in our court system, we got some big racks, I mean, big jobs.
Yes, and once that county court was added in, that increased the cost that we were having to carry, which is a good thing. So, that increased it, and then, sometimes it happens.
Judge, you better be glad you're here.
And everybody gonna sit back there.
But part some of that is recouped in grant funding.
Yes, you said, I think, 90,000 in grants that you're gonna get.
68.
We have 58,000 for this year. 30 is a new grant, 25 is an extended time to spend the additional 25,000. And then we get 68,000 from the state, for supporting, youth court support funds, and we get an additional $50,000 in reimbursement from the state.
Okay, so it's 68.
So her request,
Great
We just
service.
didn't know what it was gonna cost to get them built up.
Great service.
County for it.
absolutely,
Good
absolutely.
service.
Just getting 15,
We're gonna get 52 from, for our first year, start off with reform.
Yeah, but that's gonna probably have to go in a different fund if all those other ones have to go in a different fund.
Some of the sheriff department funding is coming through that grant from the state.
Covers an officer a lot of times, it's a DUI grant. You gotta be careful though, because after the third year, they may take it away and then they say you gotta keep him and pay it yourself on that.
Fort
I got
Williams
5
said,
new.
Fort Williams is gonna give them 50,000 for a vehicle. But the DUI grant, it just covers overtime.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
They don't
Then,
cover.
then we do have 5 additional deputies that he's hiring.
right.
So that's part of the,
That's a list.
yeah.
Plus
Just
the-
trying
plus
to figure
the-
out where we're gonna come up with the reoccurring expenses of this.
Well, y'all just gotta make sure that excuse me, let me rephrase. Hopefully these are needs and not just wants.
If we can cover this budget, we should get an increase in our meal next year and I know we'll probably have some more requests next year, for increases, but we should have some of the larger ticket items set
Covered in
for,
this budget is what you're trying to say.
for this.
Like vehicles and all.
Yeah,
that one time.
vehicles and deputies, I mean, that, if we get it covered here and can handle it in this budget, we should be able to handle whatever request for increase next year.
We are getting some good interest on the CDs right now. Maybe we'll get some of that up in revenues.
What was our last interest
What
rate?
about our road?
I think D said 4.50.
On the city.
What about,
It'll go to the next page when it.
Yeah.
how much are you wanting to add for your, IT, human resource, and, 300,000?
Alright, so the fringe would be 78,000 for fringe, that'd be the state retirement match, and social security match, so, and then, health insurance. How much does it cost for individual for health insurance?
78,
I'm sorry,
83.
what was the
How
question?
much does it cost the county to insure an individual?
Health insurance, 660.
And
month.
Per person, per month.
75, I think,
$75?
$7,500 annually.
Oh, 660
That's
times
not-
12.
Might as well say 8,000, that's 79.
Okay.
Okay. So, that's 8, 32, 378. 410,
410,000 is what we need to look at.
right.
410,000 for the three positions.
Okay, I guess we need to discuss that a little bit further. How many of those employees, Supervisor Little, do you think will need a vehicle? I know the engineer would need a vehicle,
If they're part-time, they would just need access.
to one. So the human resource officer would need one, IT person probably wouldn't need a vehicle.
And that's on the high end of that figure, because if they're part-time, they wouldn't get state retirement or insurance probably, yeah.
And housing those individuals, we shouldn't, you said you got room.
I got a room for an IT.
Okay. And I guess, I wonder if that would be any upstart cost, as far as,
Probably equipment stuff,
Equipment.
possibly.
We might on the IT person have to get them their own, laptop computer or stuff like that, even resource person have to have, any of those people have to have a computer, all of that.
desk, okay, we probably
Human
got all that.
resource would fall up under administration,
Yeah.
and,
Okay,
engineer would fall up under administration. And IT would fall up under administration because we don't have place to house and we share with IT.
Well, the fire, over here, there's our package there, there's something there. We might have to do a little, run that to this thing, just for some of them, that's supposed to,
So it'd be 3 positions, would all of them be part-time then?
HR and IT.
just the engineer would be
Okay.
part-time.
So we're gonna have 410,000 to
On the
this
high side,
budget.
if you do
that's
all
the high
that.
side.
Yeah.
Engineering is gonna take up a lot.
But they don't say in terms of.
We'll have to
That's a
specify
big ticket, that's a big
that.
ticket item.
But we could get a lot of them in general with their, and have a, over, everybody, so, like, where everything, if I could hook up the board, they got. Not cutting anybody out, but I'm just saying, it's all about the money.
That's 2.6 million.
Let's do it,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. Okay, your other funds,
It's on the next page.
yeah,
That's for now.
Second.
So the capital project on 1.3, that's,
So before we move, we're talking 2.6 million for this budget.
2.4 to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to go into beginning cash and pull some out. So, but this is gonna be reoccurring. So,
Most of it.
so do we, how much projected for next year?
This is gonna be reoccurring for quite a while.
When you get that full reappraisal.
That full reappraisal, we should, we should be able to breathe then.
Oh, yeah.
Little.
So a couple years, we need this budget and next budget. We fund it, and then we should be able to get some breathing room.
Right.
Yeah,
From
and the
there.
departments need to know to allow y'all to breathe the money. if they get these this year, that it's gonna be tight for a couple of years and don't need to come with a lot of other things to add to it. Cause you gotta overcome this first.
Okay. Hear you loud and clear.
How long do you think it'll take us to get over that hump? 2 years?
Could take two.
If I were able to get some money for the county court to help alleviate some of that,
Well,
so
yeah,
that we go ahead and fund it.
Million was put on.
Anytime.
But that's kind of big ticket.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not new,
Well,
that's not adding.
See,
What,
cause I
what
don't
we,
give
what we have to get is
seven,
these
and we keep
revenues
that
that's
millage
gonna
on.
come in each
Sometimes
year
it has a
to offset.
tax
it.
With reoccurring expenditures, you won't
There,
reoccur
it's
It's
that.
not, it's not making
You
a
have to
big
take it
difference
off.
in that
Yeah.
$2.4 million.
Yeah.
You've already budgeted for that last year, so that's not included in that $2.4 million increase.
We need them to start saying that they're gonna start sending us $100,000 every year to help out with, county court or something that they're gonna,
How much do you think every year, if I could,
as much as you can give them. I mean, this is what we're looking at and we need to reduce it. Now, county court's budget's only $616,000. So, as much of that we can get, and we need, money for, law enforcement,
so if I could plug you into those two spots, that should get us over the hump?
that could help, if you could get extra money there. That helps with operating costs, not just, that helps with operating costs, not that's gonna go buy equipment.
Well, here's, money's fungible. If I can figure out a way for our equipment cost to come out of one side of it, and then this, I can get one-time money over and over, just back into it.
I don't know how much of this sheriff's budget is for new equipment items.
It's a lot. It's,
Then,
let me get with him and figure that out.
but that, a lot of that's new equipment items, most definitely.
Yeah, I'll get with Bart this afternoon.
Yeah, I met with him the other day, and he said there's stuff.
Well, the sheriff is like 5 new vehicles and 5 new employees.
State has been relocated to the sheriff's office.
And the cameras that are fixing to be installed.
Let me see if I can figure out a way to
Camera installed where?
Where the camera,
Where the camera's gonna be installed?
so we can designate areas, high traffic area, high crime
In
area.
the county?
Yeah.
Also, there are 6 sirens in Maven Safe Room, that Sturgis Safe Room, that's 90%. Ms. Christian, can you come up and speak just a little bit about that?
Yes, so the beginning of the year, y'all had me put in for the safe rooms and the sirens. So we've got 6 sirens approved. Now the price has went up a little bit. We put in those siren grants like 2 years ago, so they're just now approving them. They're about $40,000 a siren. So right now you've got 180 that was approved at a 90% rate, so you'll get 162,000 back on that. But the cost of putting the 6 sirens in is about $240,000. So either y'all can take less sirens and get that 162. But I mean, that's something, how are y'all gonna do it? We were doing those
I
at
think we need
the,
the sirens around to
Yeah.
alert people.
and that puts you one at every fire station that don't have one now, your main stations. And then the safe room grant, we have $1 million approved for Maven, and that's gonna be the first one. We're further along with that one than we are the other one. And Sturgis. Sturgis will probably be in next budget year. It won't happen this year.
Are y'all gonna run that through the town's budget or the county's budget?
It'll be the county, because the board voted to do that.
So is that gonna throw a big wrench in what you're doing?
Now, you know,
But you
those-
got it, you got
The
it.
safe room does come in phases, so you're not paying $1 million out at one time. You know, you'll pay like the engineer and they'll reimburse that, you know, then you'll go to the next phase. So it takes a little while to get that done. We've been back and forth trying to get it approved in Denton for little picture things and stuff like that for probably 3 months. So once they finally give us the okay, it will probably take a good 9 months to get that completed.
Rob, if you can come back with some, figures on what type of grants that you can get to put in this budget within the next couple of days or something, then we can, reduce this beginning cash figure by whatever grant money that you can come up with.
There's,
Or we can leave it like it is and then we
You probably
will
need to
not
leave it.
need all this in the end.
well, the money that I would be able to get would probably have to be in, I mean, I could try to get it plugged in January, February, March, April, but it wouldn't be ready until,
Yeah, okay. But that's, we leave it like this, then we won't end up using all this amount.
that would be the hope. But I think I could figure out a way to get some for the county court, some for the sheriff department, and then I have an allocation out there that we haven't used completely. I need to get with you and find out what we've used on our courthouse.
Oh, that's going, I was told the other day that would go somewhere else.
That we can make it go somewhere else now.
I was told it was going to.
Why? You look like it is. We in the county court. County administration.
The administration building,
And then,
I mean, the justice court complex.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, justice court complex.
Well, but we're gonna have to, you're right, but we're gonna have to reallocate it and then say what it's gonna go for. I'm not disagreeing with what you just said. So, yes.
Got a question.
What funds are those now? I'm sorry.
It's the allocation that we put for the tear down, and that tear down has just stalled. So at this point, I'd rather y'all be able to use that money for something that's usable. And that may be what we can switch over to plug in for the either the court system or for the sheriff department.
Or what about redoing
Or redoing.
some of these roads
Well,
that
you
we're
tell me.
new employees that they
I don't know how we're gonna do it this.
How we gonna give it back?
we already got that.
I'll get with it, we'll figure it out.
Since it was allocated, does that mean that we don't get it back later, or it's gone for good?
It's gonna be used for something else.
No, we just have to flip it over into something else.
I know when we use something else.
I just don't know, it depends on what we can come up with.
Being taken away from one line item.
It's allowing the county to use it for something else as opposed to having it sit there and not getting used at this point.
Yeah.
Alright. But to your point, we'll have to come back later and try to figure out what we're gonna do with that. I mean, I don't know how long this is gonna take us to figure that part out.
We've got the man that got it, so we'll see him get it again.
We'll figure it out. I'd rather be able for y'all to take this and use it in something that's gonna be functional for what we
Absolutely,
need.
especially if we gonna bring on these other employees, you know, we can use it, renovation purposes.
We maybe take it and split it in, I mean, I don't know how much the renovation would cost for what we're talking about anyway, but regardless, we'll figure this out.
Okay. I was gonna ask, if something were to happen with the hospital, there's some millage on, but that debt would have to be absorbed. Does that millage, how was that set up? Was it set up to come off after it's
Yes,
satisfied?
it comes off after that debt's satisfied, just like, we've had that little bit of millage on that we've been giving them for ambulance services, we're taking that off this year since we're not funding that ambulance service anymore.
Okay.
Then, I think Tony wants to talk to you about maybe shifting some, bridge bills to where a place he needs it. And, Oh, and volunteer fire is, when somebody's out getting money, they need to be getting some money from volunteer fire too.
We had to reduce that budget to $770,000, that's on that second page. Fund 106.
Yeah, we're finished with General County.
Yeah.
Oh, when they talk about the university.
Yeah, that's the last page. If you want me to go, I'll go ahead and talk about this millage,
No,
yeah,
I was asking for volunteer fire, you're reducing it.
the 770, that's what the revenue's gonna be. That's Fund 106. See, it was a lot more because of those fire trucks that were in there, and that 2,378,800, we won't have money for the fire trucks, so that's where all that's being reduced from. So the new volunteer fire budget for the upcoming will be $770,000.
Don't volunteer fire have to, like, buy new trucks and then, like, over
No, I think he's set with trucks now, it's like pumps have to be recertified, after 15 years, those pumps are no longer, certifiable, but I think right now, he should be pretty much set with trucks for next 5-6 years.
I'm trying to understand. You said volunteer firemen gonna decrease down to 775.
Yes.
That's a big decrease.
They,
What is that based on?
because they, used all their cash on hand to buy fire trucks. And so basically now they are at 770,000. So they gotta start again. They bought 3 fire trucks at the end of 23 and 5 trucks.
Then we got 8 new fire trucks.
Yeah, and so that basically depleted their cash reserves.
Well, I know we thought about doing some, improvement on some of the fire stations. So I hope he will have the funds as necessary.
If he's gonna do some improvements on the fire stations, that might can be done out of general county buildings and grounds since the county owns those buildings.
Even for me.
He is now. And Jay did some transfers this morning for it now.
Yeah.
Those were the interfund transfers, for $425,000.
Give him another red.
To get him out. No, that was used to be
And that was something I learned this year, that we can't end the year in the red if there's a line item. Okay. A month, so we have to, if they don't have the money, we have to take it out and put it into their account to bring them back current. And that's what we did this morning with those 3
And
transfers.
it can be done either as an interfund loan, or if the law will allow, it can just be transferred in there permanently. Interfund loan has to be paid back within a year. So I don't think any of your funds that we did this for was gonna be available for an interfund loan. It's probably gonna be, permanent transfer. Now, volunteer fire does have some grant proceeds that they've applied for, that's, I think it's like $300,000 that should be coming in within the next several months to help them.
All right, if you go to the second page, these are all your other funds that are outside of the general county fund. So it's a mixture of like the mandatory one bill and different types, like the sheriff's drug fund and a number of other, like the DUI grants and E911 and various other, but solid waste is a large fund. But this just shows what the current requests are compared to the current budget we're in right now. And most, or a lot of them are big decreases. Now, about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see a Fund 370. That's your new bond proceeds, there. And that's gonna be paid back with use tax money, so, there will not have to be a separate debt levy for that. Because this sheet does have your 200 range of funds or your debt funds, and the 300 are capital projects. So the bond proceeds for construction of new roads has to be put in a capital project. That's why it's Fund 370, and those will have to be captured and all for the capitalization on those. I'll go ahead and touch on the couple of sheets over what Emily was talking about. It's gonna be like this. It's a comparison of the tax levy. This is something we always have to do to see how much additional revenue or decrease we're gonna be facing. And if you look at the ones, the first column is the 24-25 proposed, and I highlighted where they were different from the very last column for the 23-24. The general county, we were able to, down at the $200,000 one, about a little over halfway, we're not gonna have that 200,000 there, so we're able to shift 0.43 up to the general county, so that's the difference in that one. After all these changes, after recalculating the debt, that makes up for some small differences, like the university, that 0.37 and 0.35, that's a small difference. I already alluded on the 0.43 and the 0. Then the pledged levy down there, 2.54 to 2.46. Then the school, it's a little bit of minor difference in the school due to the value of the mill. But if you look up there, it says 202-21 road and bridge bond. We have to put in more to get up to that $1,969,300. We had cash on hand to cover us of that 500 and something thousand in the current year, so we had to go from 3.05 to 4.01, which is a little over $1 million. So that's where I was looking at the countywide bridge, and we proposed to shift that make that 6.7 go down to 5.74 because there's adequate cash reserves in the bridge, and like Emily and I were talking, this relates to road bridge anyway. And then that would make your millage stay the same. We just shifted it. It's now still 124.61 in the new budget, and we're at 124.61 right now. But it does reduce the revenue in the countywide bridge by the $376,925. But with the cash reserves on hand, that's not even an issue at all. So, any questions about that? Because each year we have to go in there and recalculate the debt, and we did have minor ones except for having we didn't have the luxury again on that 21 road and bridge bond. We didn't have the cash build up like we did in last year, so that's when it all kind of catches up with you when that goes out. Let's see here. If you just look down through here, these are your special revenue type funds. Now the very first one is a mandatory, that 002. That's a mandatory tax levy that you required by state law to issue it every year. So you're going to be bringing in $486,000 this year, and you'll, like I say, it's going to come in every year. And most counties that I've dealt with, they normally when they get approval from the Department of Revenue, it's certified to spend, they'll put it into the general county fund. Y'all have not had to do that, so in the last handful of years anyway, so that's built up a little cash balance there. Now that money can be used for anything, so, then you got your other levies, deal with road and bridge, your volunteer fire. Now, your volunteer fire levy, it's not county-wide, it's just on county residents, so the value of the meal there is, 168, 686 compared to 480,317. Now, yes, like Marvell, question you asked earlier about the levies for the hospital debt, if something was to happen there, that could be looked at, and dealt with. So that covers the levy. We go back then to the other funds. Do y'all have any questions about them? Like I say, there's some of them small. Now, another large one on here is Fund 026 ARPA, which y'all have already obligated and fixing to be spent all of that. So that one will not be on the books anymore. Do you see anything that stands out that you want? The E911 fund. Yeah. Fund 097 for E911 emergency. That one is, it just takes, well, it's going up, but every county that I deal with, they've had to get a supplement from the general county fund. And that's at $500,000 that's coming from the general that it's gonna take to get in there and help fund it. I wish that we could get some help down in Jackson. The E911 funds just aren't self-supporting, and they really need to be. But it has to be a lot of change in the structure of how those fees go out.
They are so protective of that stuff, it's crazy.
That's what I've heard.
Well, no, it's not getting to us.
Yours.
I have some drafts, Rob, that we'll revisit in this next legislative year to hopefully increase.
I would be thrilled, but you know the.
Just fund number 112 is going to come down some because we're transferring some money out of it over into general fund. That's gonna change.
That's a state grant, right? That we got.
Yeah. Right, Dave?
Yeah.
Could be used for elections, yeah.
90-something thousand's gonna come out of there and go into general fund to transfer.
If you look at funds 150 and 160, that's your countywide road, your countywide bridge. Those are two of your larger funds. Do y'all want to further discuss any of that, or because really those are your larger ones?
This morning, our road manager presented us with some figures on three new employees,
Okay.
some new vehicles.
Okay.
You all don't have that figured in here, do you?
Was that in addition to what we were given before? Or is that?
Yeah, this is new.
It is not. Okay, so it's not
And the
included.
amount was,
in
how
that.
much was the amount? 100 and,
That's just for employees, that's not for the truck.
right, the employees, $146,000 for the employees with benefits, that's not including the equipment.
No, apparently we didn't have that with his budget request, so that's not in there.
Okay.
Well, it was kind of thought of and put in there. It was.
Yes?
If you look at the request, it was an increase from over last year.
I'm looking at the sheet.
So in addition to what we were given before, we need to add 146.
This amount up here?
So we may have that.
Yeah, it was increased added for a couple of additional positions.
In addition to that,
I'm not just sure it's 3%, you know.
Well, that's,
You keep on saying that,
all right, road employees was right here. 821.
we already added 3%.
No, that's not with the 3%. That's a,
so is this going up another 146?
well, it needs to go up, it needs to go up about half from this one. And then this wasn't counted 3%. This was an increase, yes.
You know, so that's the way we work the budget. And even on the state side, on the Henry County, I don't think it's inflation.
And look at the bridge, there's an increase on it, on that side too.
Where this does, has to be big.
Mr. Collins,
Yes,
and
yes,
I
sir.
was at the board meeting when this conversation first started. Do you have any figures comparable to what we spent taking rotten trees down or dying trees as opposed to?
We have, I can give you a pretty good estimate. It's way over $600,000 is what we spent so far. The first time we come in, we moved about $400 and some thousand into it. And the second time around, I think we put about another 125 into it. So it's in the neighborhood of $600,000.
Okay.
But I can go back and get with Ms. Deanna, and we can pull up what the actual amount.
And I'm just trying to get everything sort of, so I can understand. If we purchase the truck, the cost of the truck will be how much?
About $206,000.
About 206. Cost of the employees will be 100.
What was it, 100? Do you have? If not, I have.
147, something like that.
So that's about half of what we've spent so far on the tree.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, are you thinking this will be maybe a year-round deal, taking trees down?
Right now, it will be a year-round deal.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it's.
Because I was just wondering, we
Yeah.
won't have any employees that get to the point to where we can't take trees down, but now we've got.
Well, I may could do that. I may could move one from here, one from there, and do that. And then put someone with them, you know, to supervise them.
Okay, you mean once you kinda get caught up on your tree?
Yeah,
You mean,
what kind of one, I'm just saying, I may be able to right now, and that's the good part. I may be able to right now move a couple of employees into that.
okay, into without actually hiring them?
Without actually hiring, I may be able to pull a couple of employees from that, from what mine right now, and move them over, and then hire a supervising person to handle it.
Is that gonna handicap you?
Not with my limb cutting crew. It won't.
So you sort of envisioning.
I kind of envision pulling out of those crews and moving into another.
What about, equipment and stuff that we got out for auction, sales and stuff like that, like, how much money, I mean, cause I was thinking maybe some of the equipment that we got out for sale could go, you know, that's what we decided needs a limb cutting tree, you know, limb cutting truck. You take some of that money and put it toward that coming back in instead of.
It will be some, and keep in mind that I still, when I bought motor grade, I sell for 3, so I still need to put one of the maintenance crews, because that's what my goal was, put all 2 maintenance crews on the new grader. Less downtime, less maintenance. And so I still wanna try to do that, you know, and it's too quick to say what those graders will bring. You know, they may bring $175,000 piece, wishful thinking, that's what I wish for every day. If they do, then I'll have that fund to purchase that other grader
Please
and
discuss it.
put some toward the truck, and then we got other equipment out there that's being sold, and I got some more that I hadn't taken yet. But I don't look for it to do that equipment. It's kinda old, and I don't look for it to just jump out at you. Yeah. So, that's the thing, we've been keeping stuff too long that some stuff we shouldn't have kept it as long as we had. You know, we actually kept it and wore it out, and got it where it's costing us more money. And I'll give you an example, just like we got 5 trailers that's over 20 years old. And now they costing us to keep them. You know, we can sell those to someone. One person can keep one truck trailer up. But when you got 5 of them and you gotta keep all 5 of them up, that's where your costs come in. And that's what you gotta look at. You know, it looks big when you go out and buy 5 pieces of machine. But when you go take your maintenance costs off of it, that's where your savings comes. And like I say, if you sell them early and they got little issues or got issues, and this man buy 2 or this man buy 2, well, he can fix those issues a lot quicker than we can fix 5 issues a lot cheaper. Because here at the county, we gotta fix them and keep them up to standard. That's just like, you may not even know it, but a big truck, front tire. Once that tire get a nail in it, you cannot put that tire back on the front of that truck. It's against regulation. If that truck run down the road and blow that tire out, it could cause a life, it cause many lives. So when we have a tire that goes flat on the front of the truck, we gotta move that tire to the back and put a brand new tire or 2 brand new tires on the front of it. So those are the things that you gotta think about, the liability of it when it gets to a certain age. We really don't, we shouldn't have it. We did that in the past, and you know, back in the past, county didn't have to have insurance. But we just do now. You know, if we have a truck turn over and it hurt somebody, they couldn't sue the county. They could sue the driver, but they couldn't sue the county. So, you know, that's why I'm trying to get some of this old stuff that's kind of has become a liability out of the way, so it won't be a liability. So that's the method of thinking that you gotta have.
Well, we Supervisor Trainer. Mr. Collins, what would be, if the board gave you option, road graders, limb cutting, tree cutting truck, which one you think would be?
The tree cutting truck.
The tree cutting truck.
Yeah, because we had a big, okay, I can give you the exact amount. We've spent $634,000 on tree cutting as of today.
Okay, that's what, a couple of years or?
That's last year and this year.
Okay, half of this year.
Yeah, half of this year, $634,000.
How many people have bid on the tree cutting stuff? Like, have we had?
We had basically 3 at the most.
Do we have any local people that bid?
All these were local people.
Didn't we have tree cutting stuff?
We just got tractors that lean.
That lift you up in the air.
Oh, we got to live.
Yeah, well, that's what we need, because, no, we just got a knuckle to load the brush on.
Right.
So that's just where we at right now. And for June of 23, that's what we have spent.
So you feel like our limb cutters, what, you think they can get to the point to where you ain't just gotta have them? And
I ain't gotta have all of them.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's time that I don't need them all.
So even if we put this in the budget, it's a possibility you might not even have to hire.
All of it, yes. I may have to hire 1, maybe 2 people, but maybe not all of them.
Okay.
But I put it that Mr. Trainer asked me for a cost of what it would take to run that truck. You can't do it with no less than 3 people.
I'm still working on the liability insurance on the truck.
Oh, and we checked on that too. As long as it's the county-owned stuff, the insurance that we have covers that. It's no different, our coverage wouldn't even change. It's just, and it's not a bigger liability as you think, as long as the men do what they're supposed to do. It's you know, they come there, they boom down, they go up, they cut the tree down, and it's just, that's why it's more than likely it's gonna be someone needed that knows about limb cutting, that can operate the truck efficiently and properly. That's the most important part.
You just about to convince me.
We needed a tree cutting truck since 2017, I know.
We have.
Yeah. And the numbers do make sense.
Yeah, they used to
What's the
cut them
board,
down.
what's,
We can put it.
And one other thing,
About half the cost, about half the cost of operating.
and one other thing to consider in this,
put it in there.
We put it in there and then figure out what to do.
and one other thing we need to kind of run through our mind, that's just like, you know, the other day I called you about a tree, it was leaning. Well, it was still 3 days before they could get to that tree, and when they got to it, it was really bad. The only thing was holding it was the bark from the back side of the tree. All the inside of the tree, you could see it every day, it'd be leaning a little bit more and a little bit more. And it was a tree that would actually cause injury. If someone pulled up to the stop sign and it decided it wanted to just turn loose at that time, it could have seriously hurt somebody just sitting there unbeknownst. So those are the things that gets me when we can't go, when we get a call and it's a tree endangering someone, and you gotta depend on someone else and on their time to get to it. If you got it there, you can say, hey, let's pull off of this and go take care of this now.
Okay. Ms. Emily, have y'all worked it out in the budget already?
I'm just looking at it, now, if you go back to this
We
sheet,
gotta add something to the budget, is that what you're trying to tell us?
Not
No.
much.
You request, how much we need to add?
206,000 for the truck,
206,000?
and about 140 for the men.
206,000 for the truck, okay. Now, we hadn't had that yet, but we're getting 206 for the truck and
If it don't work, it don't, but either way we go, we're gonna have to spend it.
We ought to have the road department set for a while now though, after this.
well,
No.
So we're not gonna see y'all no more, right? Except on the road and in the trees.
That's 346,000, that was that little quarter of a mil he was wanting to move.
I agree.
Well,
On the road.
my job is to protect the traveling public, and that's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'll just to caution you on one thing, if you look back on this, the road fund is already at 787,650 on the increase, and, you know, that's gonna put it well over $1 million, a lot of which is reoccurring type expenditures, so you definitely can't withstand that very much, if you have to use cash.
That's one thing with
So that's
General County, a lot of it.
So that's $1
will,
million over budget?
Right.
additional items from last year.
Just over what?
Well, just,
This in General County is all gonna be reoccurring too.
Yeah.
So you can't come back from that, no.
The Chantry Fort budget stay the same.
Yes, I figured out what it was for. It was the restoration that I hired somebody to do.
Would it be accurate to say about 2 million of this is reoccurring
In what general fund?
of this increase?
In general, yeah.
That's what I was thinking when he said $1 million for that, and then the other $1 million, I was like, that's $2 million.
now, part of that is the increase, road budget to where on your 911, and that's where you, 911 goes to road construction. And so that's where the biggest portion of that increase came from.
Well, that right there is needing to be increased since 2002. That same figure's been there since 2002. And I tried to get them to raise it before I left.
Which one is that?
How much we spend on new construction. That needs to be raised.
It does.
We're trying to build roads at 2002 monies.
And we definitely can't keep doing it because soil cement for a mile of road now, just the material has gone up to about going up to about $74,000. And Ms. Emily, you remember we could get them done for $50,000 a few years ago.
That's where we are now.
But now just the material, you know, and I wondered when I came back why it was costing us so much to get a mile of road done. Is because the contractors, I thought they just elevated their prices, but it's the material that has gone up. It's $180 a ton, and we looking at a mile of road takes well into close to 300 tons.
That's right.
So we're not gonna see anybody at any county barn anywhere, any time of the day. That's all gonna be on the road.
Everybody got a
and
piece
the
of
trees.
No, we're gonna have contractor work.
No. No.
Well, this cost that he's talking about is gonna be 50-50 road and bridge. We can get part of it come out of the bridge and part of it come out of the road budget when you're talking about your labor. And, I imagine the same thing with this piece of equipment, it can be a 50-50 purchase.
Can't take that out of it.
We
Yes.
might as well budget for it.
Yeah.
Cause it's not gonna go down.
Okay. Let's put it in the budget.
It's not.
We're gonna split it here.
You got that wrote down?
I got it.
My stomach's already hurt.
If you're out there this time.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Mr. Collins?
Yes, sir.
I have had a request from one of the shops for a attachment sweeper behind the tractor.
Yes,
And an
yes, sir.
attachment roller, because when they trying to patch, you know, I think they in every district, there's
A lot of low
grooves,
places. Yeah,
where
a lot
all
of
trucks
grooves.
have groove roads.
Yeah,
And when he's trying to patch that, and these two pieces of equipment are not very much, but I think that would be very efficient if you had them right there without
Yeah,
having.
and the reason I didn't budget for them, I think we can do that out of our.
Okay, good enough.
We can do that out of our regular pressure.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, those are not, they're not that bad.
Okay, good deal. All right.
I think we've covered it.
Are we gonna talk about the university or?
Oh,
we don't?
yeah, well, yeah, that's that last printout there. We definitely need to. All right.
What about the ERDR? I see y'all, those three accounts right there.
Those you have money in the account, but they're not active projects. So we took those off. You will transfer those funds over into your new year, but you don't have to see them in your budget. If they're just, remaining cash, you really don't wanna, you're not working with them working a budget from, because you can't spend that.
Oh, if you'll turn this very last printout. And this is just some overpayment stuff. What we have here, this was discovered as we were looking at this. This is overpayment on this particular, bond amount. And I just took the sheet and just wrote the figures in this morning. So in several years, let's see, 6 years of overpayment, it's the cumulative total is $52,800. The levy should have been adjusted and it was not, so we need to look at
And
Right, I wanna
I
have
guess
that.
that's because we just kept giving whatever that meal valued at instead
That's
of.
exactly right,
Well,
yes.
I told the person when I left here to adjust that millage, because you have to look at what was actually paid out the year before to see if there was overpayment, so you can bring it down, that's what you wanna do. And, it wasn't done, and where the job stopped is where I left there. And so, needed to be adjusted down each year.
So do we need to take this amount overage out and then, what's your suggestion?
Oh, that would be, I would think so, wouldn't you?
I don't know exactly how to handle it, we might have to ask Stephen. You could either, we need to be adjusting it down each year as we go, but when we get down to those last couple of years, you might not need to make a payment because you've already paid it off.
We can get Dee to talk to
Yeah.
Stephen Flake.
But we can be adjusting it down so we won't be overpaying it from
Get
this
to the
point
end
forward.
and then all of a sudden we.
Yeah, but
Get
it,
to
they,
the
just
year
remember,
2037.
yeah, just remember this, to be adjusting it down each year.
Yeah.
Because the only year that we didn't, our collections wasn't more than what our note payment is with that first year.
So
So
we
we're
can-
ahead of payment?
Yes.
Is what we're saying?
We've
Yeah.
overpaid, right?
Yeah, we only know it has to need to pay this much, but our millage brought in this
Yeah.
much.
About
Okay, but we still owe, so we
$52,800.
just need to watch it over the next.
Big overpay.
Yeah,
It
you,
is.
from now on, you make sure you're bringing it down each year. Because at least to get it down below what the payment's gonna be,
Mhm.
because you know you're gonna have those prior year collections that's gonna bring it up too.
So did you guys levy to recoup that 52,000?
Not
Or
this
No, we
year.
wait to
We
hear
can't
from-
do it all at one time.
Yeah.
We brought the
They
levy
said
down
you
from
need to talk to
3.7 to
Steve.
3.5 to get it down below what we
Talk.
are levying. We can't go in and look, drop it all at once.
Oh, you can't.
No, no. That's why we need to be looking at it each year, and then when we get to the end, we will put it out, our payments out earlier. We'll be dropping it all off.
Okay. Is there anything else we should know about the book?
Is there any possibility we have other things we've overpaid so we can find some?
Yeah,
Like in a few
I'll
million
put
Yeah,
that-
I'm thinking $1 million or so.
I can't find that for just one there, and remember on the Tom Davis River, always we use that millage down too. And that's it.
Well, I think we've managed to pretty much give everybody what they requested. It might be a little tight the next couple of budget years. We just have to watch it and we might have to say no. But after that, we should get some breathing room with our reevaluation. So I think
We're looking at it, we're taking advantage of these years with good interest rates.
Thank your comptroller for these good interest
Yeah,
rates.
absolutely.
That's bringing in revenue and not expending, bringing in.
Yeah,
I don't wanna say that, every time I come up here, I cost you money.
And I guess, you know, I do wanna say, the Board of Aldermen and the Mayor, Board of Supervisors, and the university working together. Octaville County continues to grow, and that's a good thing, because, you know, all counties doesn't realize growth like we do every year, so we've been blessed by that. I think we've been good stewards with our money, you know, so I think that's why we're able to fund what we did. We just have to continue to be good. We ain't even come back.
He's
Go
not
ahead.
done.
I'm joking, come on.
No, this is, something we talked about earlier. We need to get it done before we leave. On the mailbox.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
The board order, she found that she's gonna process payment today.
Okay, I think the order we approved at the beginning is a little different. We need to approve the adjusted amount. I don't think the shipping was involved, was in on the other amount, so we just need board order, supervisor trainer.
It's gonna have to wait till next meeting.
He was on there.
I'm sorry, I'm.
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Okay, we
So
need,
we just need to amend that one? That was
amend,
done in
amend,
August. The price.
amend the amount we approved from, to include the shipping. Motion to amend the amount for the, mailbox that the county is paying for to include the shipping. Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Williams, all in favor?
Hey,
Motion passes unanimously. So we got you.
For the ship.
August 19th.
I just don't want us to be in the red.
Alright,
Were you in that?
I'm looking at Keith, he's fixing his hat back there, he got what he wanted, he fixed it over.
I'm just standing in line too, that's all.
Just make sure it don't go into classified section.
Yeah.
All right, she may call you, because I never make sense to her, so.
Is there any other, county business that we need to attend to before we, adjourn? If not, motion to adjourn till June, September 12th. And that is 9 a.m.
When are y'all having your budget hearing?
September 12th.
September 12th. That will be our budget hearing
9 o'clock.
at 9 a.m. Second by Supervisor Howard, motion by Supervisor Williams. All in favor? Motion passes. I'm sure unanimously.
Okay.
Motion passes unanimously.
Is that just a full meeting, not just a?
Yeah, that'll be, we'll use it for.